did it the first time. Okay,
I
we are.
understand what you're talking about.
So we're
I'm better
live.
at that than most.
Okay. All right. Let me get open the link to YouTube. Let me link our discussion. So if anybody wants to join us from YouTube, they may. So I'm linking to YouTube. Let me. Okay, that's good. The audio is pretty good. Let me give you the link to the video, the live stream. There you go. All right. So, so the question is, can we predict the very far future of human history?
We can predict it, yeah. Not with
So,
100% certainty.
hmm. So I think we can with 100% certainty. So,
And as I said previously before you started your stream,
wait,
you're
what?
talking about 100% certainty when we are limited beings.
Yeah, but we have mathematical certainty. We have such a concept. So I'm going to use what's
To a degree. I mean, again, still based on our limited perspective.
yeah, but
Like
math.
even the laws of physics, which are backed by basically certain mathematical equations,
Mm-hmm.
there is exceptions to those. We don't know if the laws still apply to those exceptions or not because of
Mm-hmm.
our limitations. And maybe we will expand beyond our limitations. We always seemingly do. However, if you're talking about the human perspective, or history, or social history more specifically, as we're talking about, you're still talking about within the context of human limitations, making 100% almost impossible, if not literally impossible.
So I use something that's called game theory, which is a branch of mathematics. So using
I
game
know what you're
theory,
talking about. Yeah.
okay. So I use game theory and also I use economics, which is also a mathematical theory. So, I mean, both of these theories make assumptions, but we have studied these assumptions very carefully.
Oh, that's how you get a law. I mean, it starts with a hypothesis, which is an assumption, right? And then you
No,
have an assumption or a
no.
hypothesis that is confirmed to be very likely, if not literally true, which is a theory. And then when you actually confirm it, almost, if not literally beyond all doubt, like I said, there still is exceptions to the laws of physics, which are supposedly 100%, or should be at least.
But the question is,
You're still saying that there's doubt.
are there exceptions to the laws of math? That's the question.
In the concept of mathematics, no. But can human beings truly perceive that? Well, at least nowadays, definitely not.
All right, we'll
And
come back
again,
to.
are we even calling it human beings anymore at that point? Because you're talking more so about the objectivity of the universe itself,
No, no, I
which
didn't.
seemingly there is, unless you want to go into like some multi-dimensional theory.
No, 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 no multidimensional. Good old four-dimensional space-time.
But hey,
Okay,
that might even also be a certainty within the laws of the universe. We just can't perceive them. Maybe no living being ever can.
no, 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 no. That's not where I'm heading at all, at all. So, I'm going to make a prediction about the far future of human history. The prediction is
Okay.
it's a dead human history is a dead end. We're going to shut down. Human history will shut down. Human civilization will shut down. It will shut itself down. It's not even going to self-destruct. Like it's not going to be a nuclear holocaust. It's just going to be
Yeah, it's like the fall of the Roman Empire. Old
very,
news.
yeah, very similar.
Not a fiery explosion like people like to think of it. And
Right.
I'll give you, in some ways it was. In some ways, yeah, it caused the Dark Ages. We went backwards in progress. But at the same time, without the fall of the Roman Empire, a lot of philosophy, theology, you could also call it, I suppose, and progress of humanity would have been prevented or at least delayed if the Roman Empire still existed.
No, but it's not. The prediction is it's not going to be like the Roman Empire. It's not going to be Dark Ages. It's going to be more like North Korea. Surprisingly enough, the North Korean model is the lowest energy state of the system of human civilization, human society. One manager.
Depends on how you measure it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
By today's standard, yes, technically speaking, for their population, for their progress, but also that comes with a lot of downfalls, or almost again the Dark Ages.
I wasn't even thinking about actual energy, but now that you mention it, it's also true. The lowest energy, the actual lowest energy state of humans seems to be
Actually, I take that back. To refine it even further, it wouldn't really be North Korea. You could take it so far as to say natural primitivism, evolution.
No,
survival of the fittest is actually the best.
No, because those humans. No, it doesn't matter. Look, the point is because of game theory, society will tend in the long run to become like North Korea. In the long run, every government will become tyrannical and dictatorial. In the long
Seemingly
run,
through all of human history, it's been a flop between the two. This is kind of what Buddhists talk about without realizing they're talking about it, and also what, if you ever watch Star Wars, what that's kind of implying. The Athenians talked about this 2,000 years ago.
yeah, but
that basically, if there's a democracy, there's eventually going to be a tyranny. And if there's a tyranny, eventually there's going to be a democracy.
No.
And so on and so forth.
No. So it might bounce between the two, but in the long run, the tyrannical dictatorship is a more stable solution.
No, it's not. That's been proven time and time again. Like I said, this is why they say it bounces back.
In the long run, based on game theory, it doesn't make any sense for the tyrannical government to give up its powers. In the long run.
All right, so what is the ultimate form of tyrannical government then in your eyes? An AI ruling over everything, maybe?
No, an AI is just going to be a tool that the tyrannical government might use, probably because, just to make sure that it's completely sealing any potential flaws. But
yeah,
the problem that
hey, that's a lot easier with modern technology. A lot easier.
Yeah. So the reason why there is a tendency for every government to become tyrannical is because, let's say you have a government that has a flaw. So the government doesn't want the people to know about this flaw because then the people will vote this government out. So the tyrannical government, so the government wants to hide the flaw. The government wants to suppress information. So you already see.
Yeah, you're talking about the rise of Julius Caesar.
No, I don't know anything about the rise of Julius Caesar. I'm talking about a mathematical tendency of a system. So
yeah, I know. I'm saying it reflects in our history.
I don't know. I don't know history. All I know is that it makes sense for every.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in minor context for you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There was many flaws in the Republican-style government of Rome. Many. And the Republic itself tried to suppress it as much as possible within the confines of a republic. which still allows a lot of these flaws to slip through the cracks, right?
Mhm. I don't know.
Because you can't
Okay.
cramp down on it within the Republican system, not like you can through a tyranny. And because of this, you get individuals such as the person that Julius Caesar was mentored by. His name was Gaius Marion. He and Sulla, which is another famous character of the story. Most people don't know of Gaius Marion, but either way, they realized that really all it took within the Roman Empire to basically, even in the name of good or in the name of just individual power, doesn't really matter. The idea was, in general, especially from my perspective, it was more so Gaius Marion was the tyrannical person that wanted to wield tyranny in the name of good, versus Sulla was a man that wanted to wield it in the name of individual power or
Okay,
greed.
but I don't know anything about what you're talking about, so
I know, this is why I'm giving you context.
no, but
The minute details are interesting,
no,
but
but
they're not important to the story.
but look, I'm talking about a mathematical tendency of a system. So if you have
Yeah,
so you have a government that is, let's say, 100% democratic and transparent, but it must
sure.
because it's reality, so it has flaws. But because
Yeah,
because right, so this government wants to suppress information from the people. So you already see that even the most transparent government is going to immediately evolve tyrannical
actually no.
traits,
No.
tendencies.
Again, I can give you a very clear example of this. There was the Athenian democracy, which is probably the best example, at least from what we know,
No,
of
but
a literal
you're giving me
Hold up, hold up.
wait, no, are you giving these examples?
My friend, I'm
I
giving
have
you
no
a real life
idea.
example
No, I have no idea
where
what
we
you
even
told.
get the theory from.
No, but I don't. My theory is mathematical. I don't like you keep
Otherwise,
giving.
your theory has never been proven, and it's just in your own head
I
and
don't.
nonsense.
It's mathematical. So if you want to
Yeah,
prove
and
it,
I'm saying this is where we get the mathematics from. You
no,
don't get the mathematics unless there's history or things being
no,
written down
no,
and recorded.
no. I don't. I don't.
All right, so then how was math invented? People just thought up all of math instantly?
No, I'm not
Or did they
using.
reflect on things
No,
written from before?
I'm using basic logic when I'm saying math. I'm using basic logic.
Yeah, and you invented all of mathematics based on basic logic?
No. I'm using basic logic in order to come up with a mathematical theory or a logical theory as to the far future of humanity. I don't
So you
need.
invented game theory
No,
through individual logic.
I'm using basic ideas of game theory, such as
Yeah, and you
this is
invented game
called.
theory,
No, I
obviously,
didn't.
using basic logic.
No. I'm using it. So the idea of a government that has a separate interest than the people, that's called the agency problem in game theory, or the agent principle problem in game theory. That is,
Mhm.
whenever you hire an agent to represent you, or right, so that agent has his or her their own interests in life, even though you're paying them to represent you, but they
How would
also.
you know this?
How would I know what?
That they even have their own interests. If they're an agent
That's
meant
the
to
assumption.
represent you, why do
That's
they have that?
that's an assumption. That's called the rationality assumption.
Based on?
The assumption is that every creature in the universe is rational.
No, what's the assumption based on? Oh,
The-
okay. All right, my bad.
right. So the assumption is that every creature in the universe is rational, meaning basically they look after themselves. Creatures.
And where do we get that from? Your own
Um,
basic logic?
No, that's basically it's basically axiomatic. So that's already that's the assumption. The assumption that's called the rationality assumption. That's the assumption. The assumption is that every creature in the universe is rational or rationally
And I'm
egoistic.
saying if you're only using your own logic and you're not reflecting on the past or anything written down, which technically is in the past, then your assumption is a farce. It's illogical in its own nature.
So wait, everything I said is purely logical. So you have to tell me what exactly I said that is not logical.
No, your logic is based on an assumption.
Yeah.
And if the assumption is based on nothing but your own logic, that's a circular argument.
So the rationality assumption is the foundation of economics. And economics is a science.
Yeah, and what's that based on?
The rationality assumption, nothing else.
That's a circular argument.
No, I didn't argue yet. I was about to make the argument.
So you're saying cavemen understood the rationality argument or assumption?
No, I never said that. You don't have to understand.
How'd you come up with this assumption?
This is the foundation. This is the fundamental theorem of economics.
And where did you get this from? You have to have some sort of proof or example of this even happening.
No, so it's an
Otherwise,
assumption.
it's just nonsense, and you're wasting my time.
Wait, it's an assumption. Based on this assumption, we built.
All right, so you have an assumption based on something that is based on an assumption.
No.
Of what? From what?
No. We have an assumption. It's called the rationality assumption. We make this assumption.
Which is based on an assumption.
No. Rationality assumption is the only assumption in the story. There is no other assumption. We make only one assumption, the rationality assumption. All creatures are rational.
I'm saying that you're making an argument in a vacuum.
I didn't make an argument yet. I'm just
that's like me saying the sky is blue and you can't prove me wrong because I've made the assumption.
No, look. There's just one assumption.
Is everyone, every time of everything.
That's
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's an assumption. That is, every system has assumptions. You cannot have a system without.
Okay, and assumptions are based on something. They're not just based on assumptions.
No. Assumptions.
Actually, I'm sorry. They are based on assumptions, but they're based on assumptions of something.
Yeah, but at the end you have, assumptions are the ground truth of every system. An
assumption doesn't come out of thin air, is what I'm saying.
That's the definition. Assumption is out of thin air. That is the definition of an assumption. An assumption does not have ground truth. An assumption is the ground truth of whatever system you're about to build. Systems are built.
No, that wouldn't even be an assumption, I guess. That would be a prediction. No. Or not even a prediction. That would be you're talking more about just like abstract creativity, creating something out of nothing. But even then, creativity comes from something. That abstractivity comes from something.
Look, every system that you can think of must be based on something. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Do you know what that thing is?
Wait 1 second. Let me say, Judah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. We're talking about.
He's making a circular argument about assumptions based on assumptions.
Do you have a source for that? I'm kidding.
From something.
Oh, do you want to talk about? Do I have a source for that? Do you want to talk about the name of the room?
I actually do want to talk about the topic on the channel, but if you guys want to keep going with what you're talking about, that's cool too.
No. I think, John, I think we're stuck in a circular loop. So let me take it up with Judah.
That's not me stuck in a circular loop. I'm just asking the right questions
Yeah, that's
that you
fine.
seemingly are uncomfortable answering.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible in general. Anyway, Judah, do you want?
I'm not saying that. I'm
You,
just saying you're not going to get anywhere with this
I
debate.
know. It's
Maybe
fine.
any.
Okay, we gave it a
I
shot.
talked to you about it earlier. It shows narcissism or
Yeah, I'm a narcissist. You're
a
right.
bias towards one's own self.
Exactly. That's exactly what I am. Yeah, I'm a terrible person. Anyway, Judah, do you want to
I
do you have
didn't
a
say that. That's a
whatever? It's
gaslighting
not.
statement.
It doesn't matter. Look, Judah, do you want to debate the asking for
Well,
sources is
you have a
dumb?
wonderful night, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Judah.
well, I would love to start with like somebody who's in the affirmative of that.
I'm the affirmative. Asking for sources is dumb. That's my affirmative.
All right. Yeah, but why do you think it's dumb?
It's literally an appeal to authority. It's a logical fallacy.
And you don't think that like grounding yourself on something that was like intelligently collected and organized and structured is sometimes good?
Correct. You asked the negative, so I'm just going to affirm. So what that statement that you said, I agree with. So I don't think it's good. Just remove
Okay,
the question mark. Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to make a decision for something, like let's use the example of I think my car is safer at 40 psi versus 35, like with my tires.
Sure.
Would like me checking the car manual be stupid?
No, that's what I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what if my buddy came over and he was like, yo, dude, you should really try running your car at 45. It's safer. And I'm like, why do you think it's safer? And then he goes, it's safer. It's like, do you have any evidence for the fact that it's safer? So he goes and he pulls up a study that breaks down number of crashes versus PSI of a car. Like, would that be a logical approach to solve if something is safer?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I agree. That's pretty good. If you have
okay, so like maybe the topic was asking for sources while debating people on the internet is stupid, I'd be like, I fucking agree.
Wait, what?
I'm saying that like the topic of the channel, asking for sources is dumb. Like if it was about asking for sources while debating douchebags on the internet, I would agree with you.
What do you mean while debating douchebags?
Asking for sources in general. Huh?
What do you mean while debating douchebags? What do you mean by that?
Have you ever been involved in a debate with somebody who's like a full-on debate bro?
I don't know what a debate bro is. Some people are like, I don't enjoy, some people, sometimes I don't enjoy debating with them. Like I feel that they're just unwilling to admit that they're wrong. So I hate it when that happens. So I don't know what you call a debate bro. Like I debate a lot, but I never aim to win. I try to not win, or I don't care about winning. So I'm here to learn. So I'm not a normal debater. I don't want.
Okay. I mean, I would consider that a discussion, right?
Why? No. Why? Why is that?
Like the difference between a debate and a discussion is like a debate, you're really attempting to win, whereas a discussion, you're seeking to understand, which is what I think you're saying you do.
Okay. If that's the symmetry breaker, then fine. Then yeah. Then I'm a discusser. I'm not a debater. Fine. But
yeah,
but
I mean, I think you are, just from our conversation, and I think that's part of the difference here is like, you know, you're having a good discussion with somebody and you're just talking about something and you're like, hey, 40 psi is safer than 35, and they're being a dick about it, I'd agree with you. But if you're like debating something with the goal of getting into a deeper truth and better understanding, I see sources being valuable.
Yeah, but I've never been in a discussion where a source was valuable. I've done hundreds of debates by now. I've never ever wanted to look at a source, and I've debated every topic under the sun. It's like almost every debate I've done is a different topic. A lot of them are science theory, science philosophy, mathematical theory, math philosophy, economic theory, economic philosophy. I've never had the urge, and I never accepted. I mean, in one of my last debates, I was debating a creationist, and he started bringing sources of I don't know, certain people that claim that creationism is obviously the truth, and how dare anyone claim Darwinism has anything to do with reality. And he just read, and he brought many sources. He had many sources. He had many authorities to rely on. So
yeah, I think when I experience that personally, it's usually because he just wiggled a little bit. Sorry, my wife asked me a question. He's here. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, my kid's sitting up.
Okay.
I'll be back in a couple minutes.
That's okay. Yeah, Manny, what's up?
Yeah, what you experience, I'm not sure if that's like the goal of citing sources. Like that just seems like someone's appealing to a bunch of authorities because they're not able to put forth an argument themselves. I think with citing sources just
Exactly, but it also happened to me, like when I debate brain science, that people want to cite sources, and
that's
yeah,
because I think that isn't the goal of citing sources. Those are just people who aren't well versed in what they're doing, and they just have to piggyback off of other people's idea.
yeah.
The goal of citing sources is just to support your argument with other things that are taken or proven to be true, to give more validity to your argument. So you're not jumping on someone else's back, rather you're having a bunch of other people pushing you forward, as in building up your own argument.
Look, okay, so sometimes sources are good, but most of the times, okay, so sometimes sources are terrible. So I'll give you an example. So I was debating this girl, and I told her that when we burn fossil fuels, we're actually ultimately taking carbon that is sequestered deep underground. This carbon used to be in the biosphere like 500 million years ago. Then 500 million years ago, it got sequestered underground. Now we're pulling it out and we're burning it back into the atmosphere. We're recycling carbon back into the atmosphere, which is, that is the biosphere. We're re-energizing. We're adding life into the biosphere. We're breathing life into the biosphere.
It's kind of a weird view though, because the act of burning it isn't necessarily inserting new energy into the equation. It's just releasing something into the environment that adjusts temperature from
I'm
trapping heat.
No, I'm talking about the actual carbon. So what happened? So okay, let's take this topic. It's good. So that's exactly when I wrote down this proposition that asking for sources is dumb. So what happened was 500 million years ago, and this is the carbon cycle, and everybody agrees that this is how fossil fuels were created. So 500 million years ago, evolution invented wood. So it happens to be that until 500 million years ago, there was no wood in the known universe on Earth. Half a billion years ago, evolution invented wood, and the first trees showed up. But evolution didn't invent yet a process, a natural process to break down wood. So all these trees that showed up all over the planet half a billion years ago, they just were, when they reached the old age, when they died of old age, they just collapsed and piled on top of each other. Year after year, million years after million years, they just piled on top of each other. But there was no process to break them down. They didn't rot. The wood stayed fresh for millions of years, just as it was the day that it collapsed. And so, in time, these trees, these dead trees, just piled on top of each other, and they just started going underground. And this happened for half a billion years. So the oil that we dig up from underground now, you can see it in the coal. When you look at coal that you dig up from underground, you can see that it's trees. You see the shape of a tree. You see the branches. You see trees. So, but in oil is just older coal. That's the story that this is what we've been taught when we were in kindergarten or in preschool, or this is like everybody knows this. There's nothing new here. This is super consensus. That's not even consensus. That's like more than consensus. So no one has. I never heard of a different theory than that. There is no alternative theory to how we got oil. So for half a billion years, trees have been going underground and becoming oil. And now what we're doing as humans, we're digging up this coal and this oil from underground, which is just ancient trees, ancient carbon. A tree is just carbon.
Yes. Judah,
What?
how are you doing?
What am I doing?
Oh no, I'm saying hi to Judah because I know him from a different server.
Oh, you're saying hi to Judah?
What up? Was that Vanish?
How'd you know it was me?
That's funny as hell. I'll be back in like 5 minutes though. Sorry guys, talking to my wife.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I do want to.
Anyway,
Yeah.
is anybody keeping up with the story of fossil fuels?
I mean, I don't
Maybe.
like. I'm grasping like some of the things you're saying, but I'm not sure why that's too relevant because everything that you just said would only be widely established or consensus via sources because that's just what like that type of method is. Like these people, they experiment,
What's
they
your
like, and then they
what's your alternative theory? You can look it up. I mean, go to Wikipedia. Everything I told you is, I mean, that's fine. I mean, if you think I invented any of what I just said, that's fine. That I consider.
I'm not saying.
If that's the question that she was asking, then that's fine. I don't know if she was asking that. But you have to explain to me the alternative theory of how
Mr. Slay, I'm not gonna lie, you look retarded.
I look retarded.
Yeah, kinda.
Why?
I don't know. Anyways, goodbye.
We lost a client, a paying client. Oh my God.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but what I'm not made up your information. Rather, what I'm saying is, if we deem this to actually be consensus within like the scientific community, then we have to take into account scientific method, how they come to these conclusions, and how they can say these predictions, like or these novel predictions are like true or are like probabilistic. Is because multiple people can corroborate the same idea. They're going to reference other people's work. They're going to reference how they went about doing different things, and obviously other people are going to reference them. That's kind of how you build a strong case for anything that you're studying or trying to like posit. Like I think that's just true of any type of theory that you're trying to say is strong. Like no one's just going to go at it alone, just say all these things and everyone's going to believe them. Obviously sources are important for you to cite where you're getting this information from and cite other people who can help support your argument.
That's fine. So, but I don't think that this is what she wanted sources for. Because I mean, because you're saying you're attacking quote unquote my argument before I didn't even make the argument yet. You're attacking this story that I'm telling, which is fine. You're saying, how do I know all this? So you're right. If you want sources for this, yeah, I mean, obviously I know this from sources. I cannot prove to you right now, but the proof is that when we dig up coal, we see tree formation, we see branches. You see the wood. Coal is wood. It's just black wood. So obviously it's a dead tree. And since you dig it up from deep underground, then, you know, in order to get there, you're talking about, you know, millions of years.
Sorry
But
to
fine.
interrupt. Is the person who framed the asking for sources is Dom still here?
Yeah, that's me.
Good. I actually agree.
Oh. Yeah, because sometimes.
it's actually surprisingly dumb.
Yeah. But what's your
But that's the
argument?
surprise.
What's your argument?
Well, okay. You know what? Like the most basic version of the argument I think too is like, okay, so like you take like Einstein, right? And he's like, I came up with this like relativity thing, and it's like, well, how the fuck did he do that? Well, he did that because he was like thinking about like driving away from like a light or a clock, and he was like, what if I were like riding on a light of wave, like while I'm like driving away from this clock, right? Like that's how relativity happened. And so, in other words, most perceptual leaps by humans are essentially these kind of conceptual constructs that are mostly spatial in nature. And then what we generally do is, from that kind of weird intuitive leap that I would argue is mostly spatial in nature, then we pick up the pieces afterwards, and we like put some math behind it, we put some data behind it. And so in some way, if you're trying to like get to the core of something, asking for sources almost won't get you there, because it's like too late. Like the actual leaps, depending on who you're asking, like the actual leaps though are like not data driven.
Right.
They tend to be like logical
It's not,
constructs that are abstract.
But that's fine. I love talking to people about special relativity in
You're breaking
general.
up.
I'm
Or
breaking
I
up.
am.
I'm probably not. I hope I'm not. But I just. General and special relativity are really amazing. That you don't need for them, but that's not really my argument. What bothers me is sometimes it happens once in a consensus, but literally to everyone. Oh, why am I losing everyone? My connection is bad. I doubt it. Is my internet bad? Oh, my computer is suddenly slow. I'm running tests in the background. Maybe the tests are killing my laptop? No. Only half of my CPUs are busy. Oh, whoa, 34 failed tests. That's not good. Well, at least the tests are going to stop now. So that's good news. I don't know what's going on, but we were in the middle of a good discussion. I don't know if Judah is coming back. I didn't get a chance to actually make my argument, so I don't know what's going to happen. Is my laptop going to go into a rest state? 25%, memory at 50%, CPU dropping to 20%, still at 20. Anyway. something is killing my laptop. Anyway, there's no one else to talk to, so we're gonna have to cut this short. It was the first part, the first discussion with John. That was terrible. I mean, he wasn't too smart, and he came and he started going off with the Roman Empire with all these examples, and Greeks and history and all these names. My God, I thought I was gonna kill myself from boredom.
Dude, I've been on mute for like the last 10 minutes, so I'm really sorry if you were just talking to me.
No, I was about to leave. I know that I saw that you're on mute. The people left. I think my laptop. I was running a test in the background, and the test killed my laptop. I think it caused everybody to leave because they said my audio was bad. Anyway, can you talk now?
Wait, Mr. Slade. Yeah, for a couple minutes, I'm good too. I wanted to give you an example of a time when a source was really helpful.
Yeah, but I need. Look, I agree with you here. I brought a source in the side chat. So sometimes, of course, sources are essential. That's fine. But what do you do when you actually have a proposition that is against the consensus? That's easy. What if no one else in the known universe has made your proposition? So I don't have sources for my proposition. Then my proposition, I'm bringing it forth. It's like a peer review. I'm bringing it forth for you to peer review it. So of course I don't have sources. It's my revelation. I don't have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on what your goal is, right? Like if you don't have a source for it, then the conversation is either like you're trying to figure out a way to do it, or you're just like having a masturbatory conversation.
No,
which is fine.
No, it's not. I never have masturbatory conversations. No, many of my propositions are original and are against the consensus and are originally against the consensus. So I literally have no sources. Like I never heard of anyone who claims burning fossil fuels are good for the environment. No one says this. But
a lot of fucking stupid people say it. And then people who are bought and paid for by the fossil fuel companies. But
fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you for the record.
Okay. But just saying burning, what do they say? They're just adding CO2 into the environment. What I do is much deeper. I start from the carbon cycle and I show how I'm reviving the biosphere, how I am recycling the original carbon from 500 million years ago back into the biosphere. No one presents it the way I do. I do it extremely methodically, extremely scientifically. But anyway, so I was debating with this girl, and she said, "Show me sources." It sounds very logical, very plausible, but I need sources. And I told her, "No, you don't. You don't need sources. It's not true. You don't need sources. It's either I make sense or I don't make sense. You don't need sources." What kind of thinking is that? That's my point. Do you understand?
Yeah, I just don't think you can necessarily make a point without like a point like that without a source.
But what if no one agrees with me? So how can I have a source? What if I have no sources for my proposition? What do I do then? No one agrees with me.
Then you have to either admit that like you don't have objective evidence.
Objective evidence? Wait, sources are objective evidence?
Well, not always, but sometimes.
Sources? Sources are, how can you say sources are objective evidence? And there's no objective evidence. I mean, there's always subjective evidence. It's his opinion, that opinion, who knows what, who paid this and that person to write that paper. I mean, The AI is now finding so many fake papers. There's like a fake paper epidemic. There's a channel on YouTube called Judo. So he reviews like every week. There's a Nobel Prize winner with fake papers. I mean, you lose your mind. So you cannot trust. I mean, fine, you could read papers. Usually, when I read a paper, especially neuroscience, it's garbage. But fine, whatever. But how can you call it objective? Like
Well, again, this goes back to like it's good if you can have something that you both agree to ground yourself in, authoritative. And if you can't, then I mean, that's when I go back to just thinking it's masturbatory.
Why do you call it masturbatory? No, listen, I have a proposition. No one else ever made it. Why can't you just either refute it or accept it? I mean, I'm not telling you that I'm going to cut your head off if you accept it. I'm not going to cut my balls off if you refute it. We can have a nice discussion. You try to refute it. That's why I'm presenting it to you, because I want to clean it from any false advertising.
Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I got to go help my wife with something. Sorry to hop again.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, man. All right. Have a good one, brother.
You too. Bye. Oh my God, people keep moving in and out. The Malik, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm just checking.
You're
Bored.
just checking? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you
What are
think
guys
about
discussing?
like people when they say, show me sources during a debate. Show me
Yeah.
sources for the proposition. I think that's dumb.
Why?
Hey,
so?
bro. Show
Why?
Why
me
is
a
it
source.
dumb?
Because I'm presenting to you a proposition so that you can refute it or accept it. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. What do you mean show you sources?
I mean, but like, wait, if it do you want the conversation to go like, oh, this is my position, oh, I think you're wrong, and then just end of discussion, or because I think
No.
proof is necessary for a debate,
what do you
isn't
mean?
it?
Wait,
Show me
I'm like,
sources that sky is blue.
Sources is literally just like proof. Show me proof. That's the
no, but I
what
have
it
a,
means.
look. I have a proposition. If I have let's say I have a proposition, and I want you to either refute my proposition. I mean, let's say I show you the proof. Let's say even a mathematical proof. Let's say I have a mathematical proposition, and then I have a mathematical proof, and I show you the proof, and now I want you to either refute the proof or accept the proof. And instead, you tell me, show me the sources. Does that sound rational?
Well, I mean, sources for what? You're like talking about math. Why do you
Yeah,
need
exactly. So,
Yeah, in
that's
that
it.
case, I agree.
What about?
I mean, like it's kind of dumb.
What?
I said that it's kind of dumb to ask like, what do you want research on math or what? Yeah, you can.
No, but
What were you gonna say?
But every discussion can be mathematical if you just ground it in assumptions. So we make these assumptions. Based on these assumptions, now the discussion is purely mathematical. So every discussion can be converted into a purely mathematical discussion.
I think what he's trying to say is if he says something, either you agree and you know he's right, or you disagree and you don't know that he's right. And if you disagree and you don't know, or you don't know why he's wrong, and you disagree, but you don't know why he's wrong, then he's saying like it's your responsibility to go and do the research to prove that he's wrong.
No, I'm against research. No, in a debate, you either prove me.
Research?
No, in a debate, it's not the time to do research. It's possible, but
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not like.
Oh, I see your point. I think I understand what you're trying to say.
Okay.
I think you're trying to say like if we're talking, if we're like debating something and it's not like formal, it's like if I present you something, we can like kind of debate it like in a logical way, like reason our way into it. But like in the middle of the conversation and the debate, you can't just like asking for sources is kind of stupid. Like a debate is a place where you can kind of debate, not just research. Go and research mid debates. If that is that what you mean?
It's also true. I mean, whatever. I had people saying to me in the middle of the debate, Well, I don't know enough, so I'm not. So I cannot refute, but I just don't know enough. So that's it. So they refuse to concede, even though they. I mean, if you don't know enough, if you cannot refute my position, I don't care. If you tell me you don't know enough, I don't care. That's ad hominem. I don't care what you know or don't know. The fact is, you cannot refute right now my argument, so you have to accept it. Then you have de facto accepted it. If you're not
No, wait.
refuting right now my argument, then right now you have conceded the argument. What?
So you're trying to say it's like if you present an argument and I don't know how to respond to it, therefore like that means I should believe it, or like I should agree to it.
If you understand it and you cannot refute it, but then of course. I mean,
It's like okay. So if do you believe in flat Earth?
in general, no, I'm not a flat earther. No.
Yeah. So like if I now come to you and you tell me like I tell you that the Earth is flat, and then I ask you why do you believe it's a globe? So you just tell me like this and this and that, and I tell you that all of this are basically authority stuff. You're just kind of trusting the authority, like they could be scamming you. What's your reply to that?
That's actually very good. If that's the argument, that's good. So let's try and test it. No.
Okay.
I would say okay. Then I would never argue for a spherical Earth from authorities. I would always prove it to myself. I don't like authorities. I don't like sources. That's one of the reasons I don't like, because we might be fooled. So I don't trust anyone. I mean, it's good to see pictures from space of Earth being spherical, but it's also nice to be able to prove it to myself. So I came up with a beautiful proof for spherical Earth that we can test right now. So
Okay,
I'm
can you go ahead?
speaking right. So we do it like this. So I'm speaking to you right now from let's say from Europe, and you're in the US. And for me right now it's dark outside, and for you right now it's still light outside. So that is evidence for a spherical Earth.
Not necessarily. Like
No.
they have the. Do you think they are stupid? Do you think they don't understand? Like obviously they have comebacks for these kind of things.
I know
They tell you that. Yeah, the sun is.
Yeah.
Like it's not as big. So
Yeah,
it's like
it's
moving.
fine. Look, it's fine. It's fine. You can never win. Ultimately, you can never win, but because of the incompleteness theorem, you can never win any debate thoroughly because of incompleteness. So because language, because people anyway, because there's plenty of ways to play games. But that's one
I mean,
problem.
but they're not playing games. They actually have arguments for that. Like
that's fine.
They believe that, for example, the sun is small. So like if it's moving away from USA, like it will be dark there because it's like small. The light won't reach that place.
It's fine. I look, I understand them. I understand people that live. A lot of people have many conspiracy theories. I think everyone has conspiracy theories. Like a lot of people that are leftist, they think Donald Trump wants to be a dictator, and it's like you look at these people, you think they lost their minds, but they really believe it. So, and the leftists, they look at the Trump supporters and anyway, so everybody looks at everybody else. Everybody sees madness. So that's okay. But if I come to you with a problem,
do you think we can? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna tell you that wait.
Do I think what about the Trump supporters?
Do you think we like since people all believe in different things, we can't like tell what's closer to truth? Do you think that's not possible?
We need to be aware that it's very difficult to figure out the truth. Like
Not the truth, but like the closest to truth.
But
the
I'll
the
t- I'll
the,
t- I'll
the
tell you
opinion.
some.
Wait,
I'll
let
tell
me.
you.
Yeah, the opinion. I'm just gonna like finish. The
I'll.
opinion that is
Mhm.
closer to truth. I measure that by like, is it rationally like true? Is it scientifically true? If it
I'll tell you.
aligns with science and rationality, I think it's closer to truth.
I'll tell you a little story. So I used to always think that my intuition was that Israel did nothing wrong with Gaza, and
What?
Israel. Yeah, my intuition, and I felt, Israel is the good guys and Gaza is the bad guys, and basically. But then
Yeah.
but then
That's a German view.
Dude,
it's
please just let him finish.
many people have, like, half the planet has the not half, a lot of people have this view. But then one day I was thinking, but the Israeli government, they created the Hamas. They literally created the Hamas. Not only did they create the Hamas was collapsing like 2 years ago. They flew to Qatar. They convinced the Qatar government to give them cash in suitcases. The head of the Mossad flew to Qatar to pick up suitcases of cash and deliver them directly to the hands of Sinwar, the head of the Hamas in Gaza. So how can you blame? No, so let me just finish.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
No,
Okay, go
I'll
ahead.
just finish the story. So in my mind, wait a minute. So how can I blame Gaza for anything if the Hamas is just an operation of the Mossad? The Hamas is just it's a failed government operation. For whatever reason, the Israeli government screwed up. So you cannot blame the Hamas. You cannot blame Gaza. You have to blame the bureaucrat who created the Hamas and created this entire mess. But no one is saying this. And I can't.
Yeah, but like this is my problem. Yeah,
but
sorry, I'm gonna cut you off here.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
my problem with the whole like asking for proof or asking for resources is like stupid. I don't think so, because this is the problem. Like we can literally. I'm not saying you're not wrong. Like I can search it. Maybe it's true, but like this is my problem. Like you can claim literally anything, any conspiracy theory, and then like if I ask you now for proof, you believe that like resources and proofs are like stupid. So like. How do you prove that? Is it like is it whatever someone claims that is necessarily true?
No. So if you're asking for sources that I should show you that the Israeli government created the Hamas, there's plenty. No one disputes this. If you want sources that the Israeli government, that the Hamas was about to collapse financially a couple of years ago, it's headline news. I'll show you newspapers. No one disputes this. If you want me to show you the story with the suitcases of cash, this happened twice.
Newspaper. Yeah, I agree.
No one
but
disputes
newspaper,
it.
isn't that
But
research?
No one
isn't that resources?
No one disputes this. You were not going to find anyone who disputes this. This is headline news from many.
Can
you share a source for this undisputed claim?
Yeah.
I mean, we can like. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
sorry, I had to fuck with you there.
You can look it up.
I'm asking. I can look it up. But like, isn't this resources? Isn't that like the sources?
That's
fine. Like the
fine.
news and stuff.
That's a good. If you ask for those sources, that's okay. The problem is if I tell you this entire story.
But can I finish? I'm just gonna finish this one.
Yes.
So like you said that it's okay because nobody disputes it. So like, are we basing now what's true and what's okay and what's not based on whatever like the most people like agree on? Isn't that a fallacy, logical fallacy?
No. So I want to turn the discussion into a mathematical discussion. So I would say, let's assume, I would show you the sources, and then I would say, let's assume it's true. Or even I wouldn't show you the sources. I would say, let's assume it's true. Let's make this discussion purely mathematical. So let's assume, like you assume a train left the station at 40 miles an hour in first grade or third grade math, right? What made the problem a mathematical problem? That you had ground truth, you had assumptions. Assuming the train left at 9 a.m. and assuming the train was traveling at 10 miles an hour, and assuming, how, at what time did it arrive at the next station, right? So this has nothing to do with reality. right? There's no train that travels at 10 miles an hour, or whatever. We don't care if there is or there isn't. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we can turn any
I care.
discussion. I know. So we can turn any discussion into a purely mathematical discussion, and then we can analyze only the logic and remove the empirics. We don't care right now for the actual sources and the empirics. So, for example,
but because
yeah,
we
but
have
that's
we don't have the like the access of an empirical, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
So-
It's like this is inductive reasoning. Even if like the like the conclusion is true, like it's still premises. We don't know if they are true. Like we don't know the
yes,
true speed of the train. We don't know. We
I
have to
don't.
all have all. Let me finish. We have to have all the details to be able to like uh mathematically verify the event if it's true or not. Even if all the mathematical stuff checks in, that still doesn't mean like if it's possible, that still doesn't mean that it happened. You know,
Fine,
I
but
don't think you
I
can
just
prove
want.
something.
Fine, I
Yeah.
agree. But I'm saying when you create a mathematical model, it's a simplified model of reality. So in third grade, when they asked you about the train, they didn't tell you the model of the train and the weight of the tracks and the soil density under the track. They just said there is a train. You know basically what a train is. They didn't say it's a gasoline train or a diesel train or electric train or
Mhm.
magnetic. They didn't. It's not important. So mathematics is a very primitive, very simplified model of reality, in which we only
Yeah,
talk
it's a
about.
concept.
Yes, we only talk about those concepts that we want to now deal with. We want to hold everything constant, and we only want to play with certain variables. So let's ignore the rest of the universe. Let's simplify the universe into a mathematical model, and then we can have a purely mathematical discussion, and hopefully then we don't make mistakes, and
I
then we
mean,
go.
I agree with
No,
yeah, I
we do
agree.
mistakes, but the point is actually if we having like concept, you can actually like expand the concept, and by expanding, you have a specific like kind of assuming and kind of assuming you can like having a specific like connection to something. For example, like um to like finding out that gravity how it function, like you need something like Albert Einstein, who found like with Gauss and all that mathematics like concept, the like the like kind of the phenomenon of gravity, but we know that gravity how it function and how the like the term, the math term function, it's not 100% empirically correct, but it's explaining something, like by something explaining, we have to expand something and assuming to the limits, like that's why we doing science and all that stuff, I guess.
Sure, but look, what I'm saying is we can
I mean, can
convert. Yes,
I
go
just want to
ahead.
finish
Yes, go
first
ahead.
point. Sorry, I'm interrupting a lot, but as I said, like if we turn it to mathematical like discussion, we are not like actually calculating whether it happened or not. We're like calculating, discussing whether it could happen or not. Like we are discussing this, if the story checks out mathematically. That still doesn't mean that it's if it's possible. That still doesn't mean it's happened. Like we're basically basing what's true on the level of intellectual, at the level of intellect, on the okay. How do I explain this? We're basing our truth on how smart the opposition are. Like if they make up a story that mathematically checks in and we calculate it and it's actually checks in, that doesn't mean it's true. Like it could be that just they just made up a story that is mathematically true. So like I don't think we can verify math. Like you can, I think this is like a kind of a lazy like approach. Like we could just link sources. We can just like find sources and like documentation of the event and prove that it happened. We don't need to like go into math
So
and all that stuff. I think it's like kind of a lazy approach to it.
so that's why I like converting every discussion into the pure math, because then we don't need to look up sources, and then I can just tell you, let's assume that this happened, and let's assume that that happened, and let's assume that happened. Now, based on that, you must agree that such and such is true. So at this
We must
point,
agree
this
on
is,
what?
so for example, let's assume Israel, the Israeli government, the Mossad, created the Hamas. Let's assume. And
Yeah.
let's assume that the Hamas 2 years ago was about to go bankrupt financially. And let's assume that the Mossad asked Qatar to rescue financially the Hamas. And let's assume that the head of the Mossad went to Qatar to get suitcases of cash and deliver them to Sinwar. And this is after the Hamas was at war with Israel for many years, for 20 years or something, firing hundreds and thousands of rockets into Israeli population. Assuming all of that, assuming everything. Now, October 7th comes around. October 7th was created by the Hamas. Who did October 7th? The Hamas. But what is the Hamas? Hamas is the Mossad. According to all these assumptions, the Hamas is just the Mossad. So the Israeli Mossad committed the...
Isn't that like the most... I mean, this is like the craziest conspiracy theory ever.
It's conspiracy.
Fine, but
I mean,
But what
like,
I would agree on is that the Mossad actually knows that the attacks on the 7th of October could be happening, because the the gate of Gaza is one of the most secured gate in the world. Like there's
No,
cameras all over the
no.
world.
Nah, no. You
So
have too much expectation from government agencies. Look, it's a stupid government agency. You hear Mossad, you think, oh, genius, Superman,
Sneaky Jew.
yeah, whatever. But no, it's just it's a dumb. You should think of the post office. If you go to the post office in the United States, it's garbage. You basically go into a garbage. You dive into a garbage can. It's disgusting. It's the most disgusting place in the universe. Is the American post office or the American DMV. When you go to renew your license, you think you went to the Middle Ages. These places, it's unbelievable. That's the Mossad. The Mossad is garbage. It's a government agency. You have high expectation. They're idiots. Government idiots. Who works for government? Idiots. That's the Mossad. So of course they don't know how to put on their pants correctly. Idiots. So of course they messed up. It's a miracle that they don't shoot themselves in the head every morning. That's the miracle. So I looked into it.
Wait. So you think every like even CIA or Peking or like every secret service agency are completely stupid?
You see, they almost got Trump killed. You see, they don't know anything. It's women. Look, it was a 5 foot short woman, fat, ugly woman protecting Trump. You see, protecting. She wasn't protecting. She was running away. She didn't know what to do. You saw how they didn't know how to behave after the shooting. They didn't know what to do. They kept asking each other, "What do we do now? What do we do now?" This is government. Government. You can never fire government. These agents will never be fired. You cannot fire government agents. You can never fire police officers.
These are like employees, bro. I don't think that. Government is like a huge thing. It's not just the employees that were
garbage.
in Trump constantly.
Look, we are familiar with Discord, with Google, with Amazon. We deal. I don't know where you live. In the United States, we have these mega corporations that make life like living in the future. But when you deal with the government is like Middle Ages. So when you deal with security agencies are secret. Secret means no oversight. No one knows what they're doing. They're even worse than the post office. They're even worse than the DMV. It's the worst of the worst. You saw it on television.
Yeah.
A guy was
Uh-huh,
standing
we
on
can-
the roof,
yeah.
was aiming the gun at the president, and they looked at him. They looked at him and they let him take the shot. They could have killed the president. The strongest man on the planet was about to be killed by a high school idiot.
Strongest
Not the
man on
president.
planet. I
Anyway,
don't know, dude.
whatever. That's not the point. The point is you
Yeah, I
have
would like to go back to
expectation. You have expectation from government agencies like they're Superman, like in the movies, like on the television. Garbage.
What
Nothing.
expectations? Me?
When he says, "Oh, they knew and this, they knew," they don't know anything. They don't know how to poop their. They only know how to poop their pants. That's it. That they're good at.
Wait. But what do you think about like Russia or China or I don't know, like other governments?
Even worse.
Do you think they're doing better?
No,
Even
even
worse.
worse. Yeah. At least in the United States, in the West, you have freedom of speech and freedom of the press. So there is oversight, and the government gets, every couple of years, you refresh the government, you throw away the old bums, you bring in new bums, and they try a little bit to hide the shame. But in the oligarchies and the dictatorships, they care less. So Putin is not the dictator. I mean, he gets elected, but it's a less transparency.
I like that you think he got elected.
I think, as far as I know, I don't know, man. You tell me.
No,
I
he's
didn't
not
look-
gonna elected. I mean, you can't choose really for election. It's like you can participate or not participate on the election, but it's like yes or not, or you're not going to election.
Look. The point is, Russia is not as transparent as the West. The more transparency, the better, because that's the problem is there's no transparency. So these government organizations become so lazy and so ineffective and so inept that you get October 7th. You get the Hamas. The Hamas is inept government. The Hamas is just crazy government idiots creating an enemy that kills them. That's idiots. It's nothing more than idiots. Nothing more. It's just, if you want to know what is government, Government is that. Create your enemy to kill you. That's it. That's government. It's so dumb. It's the dumbest thing in the universe is government. That's how I see it.
So, but how you explain that? Why the Chinese people getting so rich? If the government is so stupid, but because like we all know that the government is controlling the market of China. Like if for example, like who's the name, Jack Ma is telling you something. Was one of the richest person in China, and then he was like 3 months later, like like not finding any, like not there anymore. And so the point is actually something is China is doing right, isn't it?
Yeah. So sometimes you get a dictatorship that knows what it's doing, but you see that lately China is beginning to struggle. China is growing now slower and slower. And Chinese quality of life is, I think, growing slower. So Xi Jinping either he doesn't understand economics or he doesn't want true prosperity. That's evil. So I think I always go for the dumber explanation. He doesn't understand economics. So you have a guy that doesn't understand economics controlling the economy. So he inherited a very strong economy from his predecessor who did know what he's doing. Xi Jinping doesn't know what he's doing. So Xi Jinping is slowly destroying the Chinese economy. That's my theory. That's what I'm seeing. I can
So
show you.
you would say like Deng Xiaoping is the one who has actually the knowledge, and not Xi Jinping. That
I
you know,
think
like
I never looked into what the former one did, but Xi Jinping inherited a very strong economy, and slowly he's ruining it. I mean, obviously he's ruining it. The question is why. So I used to think it's because he is evil and he doesn't want prosperity, but that would be a more complex explanation than just he's an idiot. So I think he's just an idiot. That is just the the simpler explanation. It might be the wrong one, but it's the simpler. It's usually the correct one, that government is just inept. Government is just idiots running. We have so much respect for these people, but these are just normal people, and it's a normal person. So normal people are idiots. We think we're smart, but we're mostly idiots. Think of what you were a year ago. I know I was an idiot a year ago. Every year I look back, I say, "Oh, I was an idiot." Hopefully, when I die, I'm not going to be such a big idiot. But it's hopeless. The world is too complicated. Yeah, the world is overwhelming. The complexity is overwhelming. So, unfortunately, that's my opinion. So, what are you an expert at? What's your expertise? Can you hear me? Vriend, can you hear me?
okay, you're talking to me.
Who else?
My expertise,
Yeah.
I guess right now China trying to isolate it from the rest of the world to creating own brands, because like what Europe and America is still doing is like got like the richest man in Europe is Bernard Arnault, and Bernard Arnault's company is LVMH, that's Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, and that's a luxury product. It's actually
No.
bullshit products, but it works. It makes the most money actually. So the point is that China can't compare with any product that is in that kind of segments. So the only one what they're doing is actually they pretending attacking actually Taiwan, but Taiwan is actually like a democracy, and has the same democracy problems like US or Europe, or I don't know, like every other democracy country problems,
Mm-hmm.
that they have a kind of like some people are winning, and the most people, or especially the younger generation, is losing. So there's a right wing movement, or or pro Chinese movement, and when it comes to like to the younger generation. So actually, Xi Jinping has just to wait for like this, that the younger generation realize that getting not more any more jobs in Taiwan, because the elites will like keep gatekeeping the jobs for themselves, and they will vote for like the pro China mainland government.
Mm-hmm.
And but beside they like doing more spending in military, so like becoming a bigger threat for the world, and like secure the security, and
Mm-hmm.
also getting sanction from Europe or US, or like some what we call economy war. And in that kind of case, it's a perfect situation that China able to creating new, like new brands, or new, I don't know, like new clothing lines, and new something like new products that only Chinese people are consuming.
Wait,
And then if
wait,
they
wait.
have to, like pushing that kind
Hold
of
on.
products, they
Wait, wait.
can open the market again, and then and compete with the other products.
Wait,
That's
wait,
the
wait.
point.
I'm completely lost. So you're saying, okay, I asked you what is your expertise? What are you an expert at? So I didn't understand what are you an expert at?
In economics.
You're an economist?
Yeah,
You're like your PhD?
not PhD, but my master degree.
Wow. Do you work as an economist?
Yeah, but
Wow.
as in a private equity
Wow.
sector.
Wow. That's amazing. So you actually do economic analysis?
No, actually, what we doing is, like we're working for a bigger company. We're
Yeah.
giving, like bullshit deals to small companies.
Okay.
Tell them to doing, like specific stuff to get money from the bigger company.
Yeah.
And if they, like not make it at all, we getting the company for low, like low low price, and can sell it on the a market for a higher price. So that's what private equity is doing. We always winning. It's and then with the price we buying the stocks off. Like the stocks from from a bigger company. That's what like that's why your healthcare system's also not working, because private equity is destroying healthcare system in America. Actually, the public healthcare system is costs so much more than compared to here in Germany, and it's not working at all because of private equity. Because like what
Wait,
we doing is actually
wait,
like
wait.
doing
You're
dumb
saying
deals.
wait.
Yeah.
You're saying the American healthcare system is not working?
No, it's not really working.
What do
It's
you mean?
actually like
Why would you say that?
yeah, compared to like Germany healthcare system, you get like you get less and less
What do you mean?
services.
Where?
For
Who gets
example,
what are you talking about? Like what service? Like when in
for
America,
example in Vermont,
in
for
America,
example this
here,
yeah
I'll
in
give you an
America.
example. I'll give you an example. In America, whatever you want, you go to the doctor basically right away, and whatever you want, you get the service right away. You barely have, hardly ever a wait period. You need a doctor, you go to the doctor, and you have a doctor right away.
Yeah,
In my
but you have
experience,
you have to pay for that, right? If you have not it's not in
not
security.
no, not necessarily. Like if you go to the dentist, you go basically right away, and you pay.
But you have to
It's
pay them, right?
normal.
You have to pay them, or
Not
you at least you have
always.
to, it's
Not
insecurity.
always. Like I
Well,
went.
then
Not
you have
always.
insecurity. Then you have
No, not
insecurity.
no. Sometimes you go for. Sometimes they whatever they do for free, or
No
like
way, no way. They're doing
yeah,
for
yeah.
free.
Oh yeah, oh
No,
yeah,
no way.
oh
No,
yeah, oh yeah.
no, no.
I went to the doctor. They ran tests for free.
Yeah, then you have insecurity.
No, they didn't. I remember it explicitly. They asked for nothing. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I went to the doctor for, but it was a specialized office, and I asked them if it's going to cost anything. They said no. It's a checkup, and they're not going to charge me anything. But it doesn't matter. I
Okay.
mean, whatever you need, you get done right away. And if it costs something, it costs. Fine, it's
Yeah, but the costing is like the price, how much people getting something, and I would say like when I compare the public healthcare system, the insecurity healthcare system, with our Germany healthcare system, we pay less money, in you
But
know,
the
like
question is,
potential.
yeah, but the question is, when you want a service, can you get it? That's the question. Or do you have
Yes,
to
yes,
wait?
sure.
How much do
No,
you
no,
wait?
we don't have to wait. No, we have
What's
to wait.
let's say you need an MRI,
Yeah,
an fMRI, a brain scan. How
yeah,
fast can you get
yeah.
it? What's the wait period
I can
for a brain
I
scan?
can today. I can today. You know,
You get it right
it
away in
depends.
the same day?
Yeah, sure. But the
Okay.
point is like you have
Mhm.
you know the point is actually, you know, like there's some, you know, like some, you have insecurity, you know, like there's a specific insecurity, and you can, you know, ask a specific doctors who are, for example, if you're going to a specific, for example, if you're going to a bigger city, it's more crowded, so you have more wait period, right?
Mhm.
But if you're going to, you know, like a small city with less people but with more doctors and a lot of more
Look, at the
clinics and
end,
something,
I understand.
especially when it comes to, you know, university cities, you can
Yeah,
go to the university clinics
I
and
understand.
get right away, right away, you know, like the
I
point.
understand.
But the point is the point is actually, you know, like actually you get everything beside of, you know, like aesthetics, surgery, and you know, like all that kind of plastic surgery, you get it for free, you know. If
Yeah.
you have some healthcare problems, you need medicine, all that
It's not,
stuff, you get it for
but
free. if if
yeah, but
if
it's
I
not.
compare it, if I
Well,
compare it, for
one
example, in
second. No,
Vermont,
no, when,
for
wait, wait,
Vermont, you know, like
wait, wait,
your healthcare system is completely
wait,
bullshit.
wait,
Even the Canadians people told
wait.
them, you know, like that's the
Hold on,
point of
wait,
America.
hold on. Look, look. At the end of the day, as far as I know, there is Germans trying to move to the U.S. much more than U.S. citizens wanting to move to Germany, right? If we do a net movement of who's moving from where to where, I think more people move. Like there's net movement from Germany to the U.S. The net
No,
migration.
mm,
What do you think?
I don't think
Um,
so. I
you
don't
don't
think
think
so.
so? Let me check.
No.
Net migration. So you're saying Germany is that good? Maybe I should move to Germany. Net migration from Germany
I
to
mean,
USA.
I mean, American people don't migrate to Germany because you need, you know, like a passport. You know, like you can't get the pass easily. You have to migrate. It has, you know, like specific condition. You know, like you have to, you know, like working license and all that stuff. Our bureaucracy is very strict. You know, way stricter than in your country, because in your country you need just a green card, everything is fine and can work. In our country is, even if you have you know, like a license to work, there's a specific problems on it, that you need, you know, like specific qualification, you need a specific, I don't know, like um um you know, like a livelihood, and you need specific papers, you know, like a lot of things to before you get into work, you know, because the government is really strict when it comes to, you know, like legal works. That's the point. Why people, you know, like wants to, you get into Germany, like we have
Wait,
one of
but
the most
there's no.
migration.
Okay, I understand. But the question is, what are the numbers? I need the numbers. Is the net migration positive or negative, U.S. to Germany?
I would say like there is the Germany is not migrating at all. They staying here, or they moving to Switzerland, or, you know, like other Europe countries. But the US is something that you just
Look, we
migrate
don't
if you.
know. Look, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. So we need to look this up. We need.
But you migrate, right? You know, like you migrate if you have a job in US, and when if you have a job in US, it's just, you know, like in Silicon Valley or in a Wall Street, you know. So people,
The
so
question is,
German people
so
would.
that is what I mean. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you're telling me that maybe there is an advantage to the German
But
health.
yeah,
Hold on,
but
hold on.
it's the
Wait,
same. But
hold
it's the
on.
same like the U.S. people
Let me
working
finish.
here in Germany.
Let
You
me
know, like
finish.
it's like if you have a
Please,
job,
let
you're
me
working here.
let me just finish the sentence. So, so you said, look, the German healthcare system is free. So I was about to say it's not free. It comes at a cost. Hold on.
No, it's not
Hold
free.
on.
It's not free. I
Wait
never
1
said
second.
it's free.
Fine.
I never said it's free. I never
Fine.
said it's free. I
Fine.
said your
Fine.
healthcare system is compared to our
Fine.
healthcare
Let
system
me.
completely shit.
Okay.
That's I said.
Let's assume that's correct. But you know, but the problem is that your healthcare system is part of a system. So a normal German citizen has to deal with the German system, not just the healthcare, also the education and work and shopping and
Yeah.
and living and driving. So there's a big system. So the question is, on net, the quality of life of an average German, how does that compare with the quality of life of an average American? So then you said, yeah, if the German, hold on, wait,
I
let me just finish.
would say
Let me just finish.
like
Let me just finish. No. Just want to finish the thought, please. So then you said, well, a German, if he moves to the United States, it's for Wall Street or for Silicon Valley. Fine. So
right.
that is the system. So the U.S. maybe has things it's deficient at, but it has things has great advantages at, and the big picture, the entire
You're true. You're
hold
true.
on. Let me just finish.
You're
I'm
true.
about to finish. So the fact is, we know that the average quality of life of an American is much higher than the average quality of life, basically, of every other country. You can speak
No,
now.
no. The point is actually the average, like depends on the states, but the average life is much more unhealthier compared, for example, here in Germany.
No, GDP, quality of life, GDP per capita, not the
Yeah.
not the health, the average
No,
quality of life.
that's GDP. No. GDP is like like how much people you have more billionaires than we have more billionaires.
Fine, that's
Our like
average.
our distribution of money is more like like it's not like completely split in super rich and rich. We have at least we have a middle class and even a lower class who are getting a
Wait,
healthcare
so you
system
agree?
and also
1 second.
getting free education and something.
Step by
Like
step. Wait, step by
okay,
step. Hold on, step by step. Wait, step by step. So I just need to know, or do I need to look it up? So GDP per capita, USA is higher. You agree compared to Germany? Where's
I would
GDP?
say I would say not the completely but per person
Per
like
capita,
per
yeah.
person.
GDP per capita per person is higher. I see US is $64,500 per year in USA.
Okay.
Let me look it up for Germany. So I'm sure it's going to be like 20, 30. Oh, it's pretty high. It's actually 44, almost 44 and a half.
Yeah.
43, about 43,000. 43, and US was 64 and a half. Yeah. Okay, it's like 2/3. That's GDP per capita. Now, the next question is the distribution of wealth. So now let's look
Okay.
up the Gini coefficient. So Gini USA. Let's see if it knows Gini USA. Gini coefficient 0.42. Okay, let's look up Germany. Gini, Germany. It says 29%. According to the, let me see, according to the available data, Germany Gini coefficient of equalized disposable income has been steadily increasing over the years, and it's sort of 20, let's say
Hey, Mr.
30%.
Slave, real quick.
Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Slave. Were you just reading sources?
Yeah, so we came to the conclusion that there's two types of sources. The sources for the assumptions, and then the sources for the conclusion. So asking for sources that support the conclusion is dumb. Asking sources.
Come on, admit it. That was a little funny. That was a little funny.
No, I don't have problems with. Of course, I don't have problems with sources. What do you mean? The whole day I spend looking up sources, but that's for the assumptions, but not for the logic. I don't want, like, if I have my proposition is based on these sources, I can't, like, I derived, or I have a mathematical derivation for this conclusion. You're not going to ask me for sources for a mathematical derivation, right? You're not going to ask me for sources for a mathematical proof. If I have a mathematical proof, either you disprove it or accept it. You don't ask for sources. Hopefully, that's my point. Asking for sources, for example, for a mathematical proof makes no sense. Asking for sources, if the discussion is mathematical, then asking for sources for the conclusion is dumb. That's my point. Anyway, you missed. Are you still here? Is he here? The guy that asked this question? I think he's. I don't know. People come and go, and I never know who's here. Anyway, Brienne, which is more equal, 30% or 42%? Oh, so perfect equality is 0. And perfect inequality is 1. Okay, so the difference is 0.4. So you have to decide. I mean, yeah, the US is unequal, but I don't know what that means. For the average person that needs to decide, like, he doesn't care that there's inequality. Why do I care? Like, if I know I can go and live and work in Silicon Valley, that's where I'm going. I'm going to make millions of dollars per year salary. You don't get that in Germany. In Germany, you don't get an offer of here $2 million a year salary for working in a hedge fund. That doesn't exist anywhere in the world, as far as I know. So yeah, of course. I mean, there's poor people in the U.S., but for normal, I think most people want to move from Germany. Anyway. Okay, I think we've beat all these horses to death. I think everybody's already dead or dying. And I've been streaming for almost 2 hours, so I'm also dying. So I'm gonna quit at this point. Thank you everyone for joining me for this beautiful discussion. Have a great rest of your day. That's that. And now for concluding remarks for our discussion. We had multiple discussions. We were all over the place. I'm not even. Originally it was, can we predict the very far future of the human race? Yeah, we changed the topic since then. Anyway, hopefully everybody enjoyed the conversations that ensued, and we will see you next time.